Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Mainstream Media. We're back with
Charlie.
And Dangy Beats.
and I'm your host, Jeremy. So, Dangy, what are we talking about today?
Well, mainstream media, viewers have been calling in, asking us all types of questions, so we're going to answer them live here today on the show. And first question, Charlie, I'll ask you, what should the Patriots do? Should they keep Jimmy Garoppolo, or should we keep Malcolm Butler?
Well, I think the real question is, will we keep either of them? And how long will we keep them? It's in my opinion that Jimmy Garoppolo will be the backup quarterback for the Patriots this season. And then depending on how Brady plays, if Brady still plays at a very high level and, brings us to another Super Bowl, playoffs, or whatever, then Garoppolo is most likely gone after next year. But if Brady drops off or something happens, maybe he gets injured or whatever, then it'll be good to know that we have Garoppolo in case something does happen. We do have a potential future franchise quarterback. So the Garoppolo situation, I think it needs some time to play out, and then we'll be able to see what will happen with him. The Malcolm Butler situation is a little different. I don't know if he signed it yet, but he got a $3.91 million first round franchise tag tender or whatever. So a team can offer him a contract, and then if he accepts it and the Patriots choose not to match that contract, then that team then gives up their first round pick to us. So I can't see any team signing Butler for the money he wants due to the fact that they'd have to give up a first round pick. So I think Butler's same thing. He's going to end up playing the 2017 season here in New England, and then after that, who knows what will happen. But I just don't see him getting a contract this year. I think he's going to have to play through this season and wait till next year.
As we've seen that Malcolm Butler has been in talks with New Orleans about signing with them, and we obviously just had a transaction with the New Orleans Saints with the trade for Brandon Cooks. We gave up our 32nd first round pick, and if Butler was to sign with the Saints, we would get their 12th pick, which, to be completely honest, I don't think Butler is worth the money that he is asking for.
Yeah, I don't know. It's a little over $10 million a year.
Yeah, I don't think that Malcolm Butler is good enough to be paid that much money. I think that we could do something better with that money.
Yeah.
And a first-round pick added on top of that, you could get possibly a next star in the NFL with that pick. So
don't get me, if it was just, if he was a regular free agent, he'd already probably be gone. It's just the fact that, no team's going to want to give him the money he's asking for and give up a draft pick. I don't see it happening, but who knows? Maybe some teams value him more than the Patriots do, and they will end up doing that. Yeah. But I don't see the Patriots matching anything over $8 million a year at this point. I think maybe after next year, if he has a really good season, if he ends up playing for the Pats, then maybe we'll give him what he's asking for. But knowing the way the New England Patriots do things, I think Malcolm Butler's most likely, if he's not gone this year, he's probably gone after next year.
Yeah. Staying with New England sports, we're going to go into our next question, and that is, what should the Celtics do with their first-round pick from the Brooklyn Nets? Looking right now, they have the greatest chance to get the number one pick in the draft with the lottery, and there's some great players in college basketball right now. So what do you guys think that they should do with that pick?
I love what the Celtics have been doing. You listen to Felger and Maz on the radio. They're saying, just trade away the picks, get Paul George, get Jimmy Butler. Just trade for a star right now. Let's win now. But that's just not the way to do it, because you're going to have to give away more players to do that. They didn't do that at the trade deadline. But, nobody's getting past Cleveland or Golden State or San Antonio this year, next year, maybe the year after. So I think the way to do it is just patience, We have top 5 picks in the next 2 drafts. We had Jaylen Brown last year. He's looking good already. Looking like with some development, he could be a star in this league. If we just keep developing and just continuing to, keep these assets, then, you get a guy like Lonzo Ball on the team next year, and then you can trade players like Avery Bradley and Jay Crowder for some dominant rebounders, because that's something that would really put the Celtics over the top, and then give it another 2 or 3 years, and suddenly they're the top team to beat. There's no need to rush this. What they're doing right now, I think, is the perfect way. You stay patient, and then they'll be the next championship team, next dynasty other than Cleveland, Golden State.
Now, I heard you talk about Lonzo Ball. Personally, my thoughts, I think that the Celtics should keep the number one pick, or potentially the number one pick, keep that pick from the Nets. I would love to see Lonzo Ball or Markelle Fultz or Malik Monk, any of them, in a Celtics uniform next year. That would be a great sight. Some of the greatest players in college basketball right now. They're all really young, so hopefully develop them throughout the years and they'll get even better.
Yeah, this draft is looking like it's really deep, so, I don't see any need to rush it at this point. I think what they're doing, they just got to stick with it, and it'll pay off in a couple of years. And they're still the number 2 seed right now, but everyone knows they're not winning it this year, which is fine, because if they're still rebuilding and they're the number 2 seed, you can't be in a much better position than that. So the future definitely looks very bright in Boston. What's the next question?
Our next question that we have is, should college athletes be paid? This is a very big issue today in the sports world, as college athletes believe that they should be paid for what they do, for how much money they bring into the schools. Personally, I believe that they should not be paid because they're going to college for an education. They're student athletes.
And
student comes first.
Some get scholarships too.
Yeah, some get scholarships to go for no cost at all to go to school. And realistically, a lot of these colleges are paying their players, through different bribes and stuff. So, if there was to be investigations at every top school, you'd probably find something such as the USC investigation a couple years ago on Reggie Bush. Ended up getting $219,000 in a house for his family. All types of things. You see at Oregon, once Chip Kelly left, that's when allegations started to arise. So, what do you think about the whole issue with athletes being paid?
I think that, what I said earlier, the scholarships, a lot of these guys, they're not going to have student loans to pay off because they're getting paid to go play these college sports. And, for the ones that don't get that much money, I think it is a little unfair because they're devoting so much time to their sport. They don't have enough time to really go out and get a job and make money. So I think maybe it shouldn't be a question of whether they should get paid or not, but maybe they should get benefits within the school, like better meal plans, housing.
If you're a D1 athlete, you get a free meal plan, so you can have unlimited meals.
So it should be like, because I don't think they should be paid, no, because a lot of them, first of all, are going to go on to make lots of money because of the opportunity they've been given with these scholarships to play at these schools. But a lot also don't have that opportunity, so I don't think that they should be paid, but I do think they should get extra benefits because they give up so much time and they're not allowed to go out there and make money to pay for whatever they got to be paying for in college. Jeremy, you have an opinion on the issue?
I don't think college athletes should get paid, but I think that they should be able to make merchandise and make sponsorships. They should be allowed to have sponsorships like Nike.
Are they not allowed that?
I'm saying they should be. We're talking about.
Not personally. They're not allowed to accept money. If you're in high school or in college, you're not allowed to accept money.
Yeah, so maybe like for their jerseys,
I think they should
like their jersey sales, they should get some of that money.
On the back, perhaps. Because they can't do that now. You can only sell.
Well, I was talking about more like Nike reached out to like one of the best football athletes and say, "Wear my shoes and I'll give you money." I think that should be acceptable. But then looking at colleges, like
usually the issue with that is that the school is sponsored by a certain company, like Under Armour, Nike, and they're licensed to wear that apparel and their equipment.
Yeah, so it's a tricky situation altogether, but I don't think they should be getting paid. I just think they just deserve more benefits.
I mean, they're college athletes. Like, you're going to school. It's school first, like Dangy said, and then it should be sports after, so there should be no money involved.
Yeah, I agree. It's a solid point.
And the final question we have from the viewers are drugs in sports. This is mainly focusing on the use of painkillers and other types of prescription drugs that are easily accessible for professional athletes. So, what are our thoughts on that, boys?
Jeremy, you want to go first?
There seems to be a common issue with drugs in sports and like the the pills, like what kind of pills, like Vicodin,
Vicodin
maybe.
and painkillers such as that.
And-
commonly.
Yeah, we've seen it through sports. We've seen every time an injury, like you want to get back on the field as fast as possible, but sometimes it's not humanly possible. So they use very intense drugs, and I don't think it's right in the sport to do that. I think you should be able to heal. You should be able to go through rehab and then get back on the field. And I think that's the healthy benefits. But then you're also looking at the best players, how to get them back on the field, and doctors are always trying to figure that out, how to get them back on the field. So it has to be taken at a doctor's approach, and it can't be that the team decides what to do.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I see a lot of hypocrisy in the NFL because, you know, you got guys facing 10-game suspensions, or, I mean, guys who have been suspended for years at a time from marijuana use and then they go play for a team and they twist their ankle and they get a shot of Vicodin at halftime. And, you know, that's so much more, like, dangerous to someone's life than smoking weed. I mean, it's just it doesn't make much sense to me. I think they got to change their policies on that. You know, if a player gets hurt, like Jeremy said, you can't just shoot him up with painkillers and just throw him back on the field. You know, they should have to sit that out and rehab it and let it heal correctly, because it's just not healthy for someone's body to be going through that. And you can't just have painkillers just pushing you through a game. It's not right.
That just that hurts you in the long run of your life. You
Yeah.
get addicted to those things.
Yeah, that ruins lives right there.
Yeah, it's not good overall how easily accessible they are. It's just it's endangering the lives of athletes for playing a couple extra downs or another quarter.
No, that's
I
what it
mean, I
is.
get it if you need painkillers because you got a really bad injury and then you got to get surgery or whatever. But to just give someone painkillers because you need them back in the game, that's not, that you can't do that just for the benefit of the team. I mean, you got to think about it's players first, then the team. That's what it's about, the players' health. And I think the NFL it's mostly the NFL that has this issue. Has got to just, you know, fix their policies. I think they're also working on changing their marijuana policy, which is long needed, because as it becomes legal across the nation, it is becoming more legal. It's not right that these guys can't, you know, maybe smoking a little bit of weed makes their muscles feel better or whatever, and that's a much better alternative than Vicodin and Percocet.
Especially with the suspensions, you look at Le'Veon Bell was suspended like 4 games, and then what's his name? The Greg Hardy, who was convicted on beating his wife.
Yeah, throwing her on AKs and M16s.
Yeah,
and
you have to
draw the line at some point.
you have to have an even like amount of like suspensions, and you have to have the same protocol for everything. It's
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
not fair. Also, looking at like Tom Brady suspended 4 games for possibly knowing about like Deflategate. Still a big issue here in New England. You know, mainstream media had that covered.
Yeah.
It's just, you got to look at that, and the NFL has to do a lot better job handing out their suspensions and doing them fairly and comparing.
Yeah, I think that's the thing. I think the NFL needs to be a little more consistent and be accurate. Like Tom Brady getting suspended for 4 games when there's people like Greg Hardy, like you said, beating his wife and only getting, how many games did he get?
I think he got 4 games.
See,
as well.
that's where they're wrong in the NFL. They need to make a line and say this is good, this is bad, and then that's drawn, and then everything around it falls into place.
Yeah, it's just a policy issue at this point. When hopefully they can get it together, you know, painkillers just can't be that accessible.
Yeah, and it starts from the commissioner making these rules and trying to enforce them.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
So, any more?
Nope, that's all our questions, but viewers, make sure to send them in, and
yeah, we'll try and get to all of them. We love answering you guys' questions, so just keep sending them in. All right. Thank you.